A construction site is an environment of constant motion. With dozens of moving parts and heavy materials in the air, stepping onto a site without knowing how to operate the machinery safely is a direct path to serious injury or a completely ruined build. Today, we are going to master the 6 essential machines you need to know. Understanding these tools will get you ready for your exams and keep you safe on the ground. Before you touch a single power switch, there are strict prerequisites. You must ensure your work area is clean and completely dry. You also need to be wearing your mandatory protective gear, heavy-duty work boots, and thick gloves. To remember these 6 pieces of equipment, we use a simple memory framework, MEVWBS. Standardizing how we approach these 6 tools minimizes individual mistakes. It creates a universal language of safety that protects the entire crew from day one. This is a breakdown of M for mixing machines. These machines combine raw materials into concrete used to build foundations, floors, and walls. You need 4 distinct inputs: cement, sand, gravel, and water. You must add these materials into the active mixer in a strict sequence. Step 1 is always stone, followed by sand, then cement, and finally water. Doing this out of order results in a clumpy, unusable batch. While the machine is running, the safety rules are absolute. Never overload the drum past its heavy capacity limit, and under no circumstances should you ever put your hands inside the active machine. You know the process worked when the final mixture pours out completely smooth and even. There should be 0 dry cement visible in the drum. If you fail this mixing step, either by adding materials in the wrong order or overloading the machine, you compromise the structural integrity of the entire building before it even takes shape. Next is E for mobile elevating machines. These include scissor lifts and boom lifts, which are heavy-duty platforms used to safely lift people or materials high up into the air. Because you are working at height, pre-operation checks are mandatory. You must verify that the machine is perfectly positioned on completely level ground to guarantee its stability. Only trained personnel should operate these lifts. You strap into your safety harness, lift the platform slowly, complete your work carefully, and lower safely to the ground. Working off the ground means gravity will amplify any small mistake. Strict adherence to stability checks and harness protocols separates a trained professional from a dangerous liability on site. Moving on to V, which stands for vibrators. When you pour wet concrete for columns or floors, air gets trapped inside. This motorized tool extracts those invisible air bubbles to ensure the finished concrete dries completely compact and strong. Once the concrete is poured, you insert the vibrator firmly and move it continuously and slowly around the wet mix. Never leave it in one spot for too long, and always keep the electrical components entirely dry. If you skip this step, you end up with weak concrete riddled with visible air gaps. Proper execution results in a perfectly smooth, high-density structure. Those trapped pockets of air act as microscopic structural weak points. Proper vibration prevents long-term material failure. Now we look at manual material transport. W is for the wheelbarrow, used for carrying bulk materials like sand and heavy blocks. B is for the bucket, which is designed for holding liquids like water or smaller amounts of mortar. To safely operate a wheelbarrow, first load the bed evenly. Lift handles using both hands to maintain your balance and push forward slowly with control. For bucket transport, the rule is simple: never overfill. You must adhere to strict volume limits, carry the bucket properly by its handle, and pour the contents slowly. The standard for both of these tools is smooth, highly controlled movement, resulting in absolutely 0 spills anywhere on the site. Efficient manual transport does not rely on brute strength. It relies entirely on calculated balance and properly managed loads to keep the construction moving safely. Finally, we reach S for skip. This is the large open-topped container used in the final phase of the equipment cycle, site cleanup, specifically for collecting broken blocks and old materials. There are strict parameters for safe waste disposal here. The skip must be placed safely on flat ground, it cannot be overloaded, and you must place materials directly inside. Never throw heavy debris into the skip from a distance. When this step is completed correctly, You are left with a clean, highly organized site where all waste has been contained properly. A cluttered site is a hazardous site. Utilizing the skip effectively takes dangerous, loose debris and creates a controlled, professional environment. To recap the complete daily cycle, remember the MEVWBS framework: mixing machine, elevating machine, vibrator, wheelbarrow, bucket, and skip. Following the specific rules for each piece of equipment gives you two major real-world payoffs. It prevents accidents, and it drastically improves the structural quality of your finished build. After the work is done, you must clean all machines immediately. Always mentally verify this 6-step checklist before you start every shift, or before you sit down for your exams. Knowing how to operate these 6 tools ensures the concrete gets poured safely and the site stays clear. It builds your foundation as a highly skilled and professional builder.